Welcome to Ochofia FS. In case you are new in this channel, consider subscribe to this channel, like, comment, and share. This is where we simplify chart even to a layman understanding. Though it has been a while, I step out to do one or two things. I went on a break to do one or two things. So I am back again. This is BTC USD. Today topic or today lesson, I'll be teaching you how to analyze market, how to read market structures, how to read market structure, the easiest way to analyze a market. Like I've been telling you people without number that every trend is formed by a previous trend. As you see this as you can see this market, how will you start to analyze this market? Now, when you open a chart, the first thing that you observe the previous trend. Now, this is the previous trend of this market. I'm using this technique to analyze this market by teaching you how to analyze market. So when I'm teaching, I actually use a market to teach you so that you can understand it better. Can you see when you open a chart, any chart, immediately you open a chart, just consider the previous trend first. This is the previous trend that give birth to this trend. Now, how will you identify the next move of this market, where this market is going, is another thing. Now, you have figured out the previous trend and you have figured out the current trend. Then, will you continue with the trend or with the trend reversing is another thing. So, once you open a market, first of all, identify your previous trend, which we have did already. This is our previous trend. Now, this is our previous trend, right? And this is our current trend, right? Can you see? So, now as you can see, let's see if the previous trend is no longer in equations. So what you do is that you mark the height of the previous trend. This is the height of the previous trend. Then you mark the lows of the whole trend. Can you see? Now, this whole market was trading within this zone. We can actually call it a zone. Can you see? This market was within this zone. Now that you have figured out the zone that the market was trading in, your only is to identify where the market is going again. If this market break out, then you are going up. And if this market should have break down, then you would have coming down. But as we can see, the market have already done with the previous trend. Now, this trend is no longer in considerations again, is done. This trend, this height, the market have already broke it. Now, how will you trade a broken market like this? Now, for you to trade a broken market like this, what you do is that you mark the distance of the previous height of the previous trend. Let me just say the previous trend. Now, this is the previous trend. The distance of the previous trend, you mark it. This market, once it break to any directions, at least it will go to the half of the previous distance. Now, we take it to the height where the market broke the resistance. Now, this market, at least before any other things, it will come to the half of this previous distance. It will come to the half of this previous distance. Can you see? It will come to the half of this previous distance. This is how to analyze market. How will I know that this market is the breakout has been validated already? I've taught you people, I say I have a validator. Now, I call this This is the half of the previous distance. This is the half of the previous distance. Here, my network is disturbing. Now, this is the half of the previous distance. If I move this line down here, this is my retracement or validator. This is my retracement or validator. Because the market have reached my validator, the next move is to go to this half of the previous distance. Is to go to this half of the previous distance. Is to go here. Is to go to this half of the previous distance. So can you see, this is how to analyze a simple market and a simple chart. So after that, after you have marked your market like this, you can equally take a trend line. You can also take a trend line from the bottom line. Now, you can take a trend line from this point. You can take a trend line from this point to this very point. Can you see? Now let's screw back to a lower time frame like 4 hours and see the proper direction of this trend line. Can you see? Now, can you see? We have touching. Let me show you. Yes, we have first touch here. Can you see? And then we actually have a touch here, almost a touch here. Yep. And then we have another touch here. This touch now, the last touch, the second to the last touch is going to be your stop loss, because risk management is the key. Market can do anything. Risk management is the key. Can you see? This last touch, the second to the last touch, is going to be your stop loss to manage your risk properly. You see? Now, looking at this market, we see that this market have pulled up, coming back to the trend, move from this trend line, go up, come back to this, break out that resistance, come back to the trend in line with the resistance that have turned to support now. Can you see? Just pull down a little bit. Now it has started pulling up. So probably BTC is still go a long way again. Can you see? This is how I analyze my market in a simple way. Keep my chart very clean. See, one thing to understand market is to keep your chart clean. You need to keep your chart clean. Don't mess up your chart with so many indicators. You can use 1 or 2 indicators to help you as a beginner, but it is good to keep chart clean. As you see this chart, you will know what to do. So this is how I analyze my market. If there is any question, please drop your question in the comment box. I will humbly answer it. See you in my next video.